Mikel Massa video, subscribe and share. Pay attention, because I'm going to address a very important topic that many of us have heard repeatedly. Who hasn't heard that Africans worship their deities in the form of animalism or animism, and that these deities are connected to animals in some way? But the question is this really true? Do we, the Bantu people, truly worship animals or gods with animal traits? That's the question. Now I want to share with you the definition of animism, which you can look up for a deeper understanding. However, one thing that caught my attention in the first definition on Google was a photo that I found, which shows African divinities. It's important to note that Western definitions often misinterpret and label our spiritual practices. But we are here to deconstruct these paradigms and challenge the Western view. For those who are familiar with the Bible and its scriptures, let's turn to it to explore this matter. Many people only begin to understand certain things when they are pointed out in the Bible. Let's bring it into this discussion, as it offers insights into spiritual matters. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 7, Ezekiel describes a vision of the spiritual realm. He speaks of creatures whose feet were like those of a calf, shining like polished bronze. They had human-like hands under their wings, and their faces were not only human, but also included faces of lions, oxen, and eagles. Here, we see animal-like characteristics being ascribed to these divine beings. Is this animism? The answer is no, it is not. Let's also look at the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 6. In this passage, John speaks of his vision of divine beings around the throne of God. These beings had faces like those of a lion, an ox, a man, and an eagle. Again, this seems to suggest animal representations of divine forces. But is it animism? No, it's not. It's symbolic. When we look at African spirituality and how we depict deities, we are often misunderstood as animists. We are not. What we do is use symbols or archetypes to represent divine attributes. These symbols are not literal. They represent deeper spiritual meanings. For example, in our language, we associate the power of a lion, a chimpanzee, or an eagle with divine qualities like strength, wisdom, and protection. This is not about worshiping animals, but using animals as archetypes to convey the power and characteristics of divinity. So, when we talk about African spirituality, it is important to understand that the use of animal imagery is symbolic. It's about representing different forces in the world and in heaven. For example, a lion symbolizes sovereignty, strength, and power. An eagle represents vision and leadership. An ox symbolizes prosperity and abundance. These are archetypes and symbols used to communicate the qualities of the divine, not literal animals. In conclusion, the misconception that Africans are animists stems from the way Western anthropologists have misunderstood our practices. We are not worshiping animals. We are using symbols and archetypes to understand and represent divine forces. This is an important distinction to make, and I encourage you all to study these symbols and archetypes more deeply. We're in Ezekiel 1:7 JV, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides, and they four had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man. I must say that men mentioned here can also be a monkey. We can see that only animals are mentioned, so how can that be? He talks about men here. He saw four animals. A man is not an animal, but he saw a gorilla and the face of a lion on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side. They four also had the face of an eagle. This passage from Ezekiel describes four living creatures in a divine vision, with each one having faces that resemble humans, lions, oxen, and eagles. This symbolic use of animals conveys different attributes of divinity. 2 Revelation 4:6-7b. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were four beasts full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. In Revelation, John describes four living creatures around God's throne, each having the characteristics of different animals. The lion, calf, man, and eagle are often interpreted as symbolic representations of various attributes such as strength, service, wisdom, and majesty. 3 Matthew 11:29 KJV. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. While not directly about animals, this verse reflects the archetypal use of meekness and humility, often associated with domesticated animals such as oxen or lambs in biblical symbolism. This is used to represent the nature of Christ's teachings and how we should embody these qualities. 4 Psalm 4:25 KJV. O Lord, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches, so is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. This psalm highlights the diversity of God's creations, mentioning the animals of the sea and land. It celebrates the wisdom in God's creation and could be seen as reinforcing the idea that animals have symbolic significance in the greater order of things. 5 Genesis 49:9 TJV. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. This verse refers to the tribe of Judah being symbolized by a lion. The lion is used as a symbol of leadership, strength, and authority in this context. 6 Proverbs 30 KJV. A lion which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any. This proverb uses the lion as a symbol of strength, representing an animal that does not retreat from challenges. The lion's characteristics here could symbolize unwavering strength and courage. These passages illustrate how animals in the Bible are often used symbolically to convey certain qualities of divine beings or attributes of God, rather than suggesting a literal worship of animals. The symbolism is deeply rooted in the idea that animals represent different facets of power, wisdom, and other divine qualities. Animals in many cultures represent qualities such as strength, wisdom, speed, or protection. By associating these qualities with divine beings or deities, you are using the animals as symbols or archetypes, rather than worshiping them as literal beings. In the context of the 12 tribes of Israel, each tribe can be symbolized by animals that reflect the nature or calling of the tribe. Judah is often symbolized by a lion, strength, leadership. Dan is often represented by a serpent, wisdom, danger. Issachar is symbolized by a donkey, patience, labor. And so on, with each tribe being associated with a symbolic animal that reflects its character or divine role. These symbols or archetypes are not intended to promote animal worship, but to embody the divine attributes and virtues that each animal represent. Yes, the idea of heavenly creatures that resemble animals and are associated with God's throne can be found in various ancient religious texts, including the Apocrypha, Pseudepigrapha, and the canonical Bible. These texts describe majestic, otherworldly beings that serve God, often depicted as having features of earthly animals. The Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, Levi's Vision. Testament of Levi 1-8. And I saw in the heavens a throne of great glory, and the heavens were opened before me. And I saw the holy temple, and upon a throne of glory sat the Most High. And he said to me, Levi, to you have I given the blessing of the priesthood, until I come and dwell in the midst of Israel. And I saw the holy temple, and a likeness of creatures and angels ministering before the face of God. Some had the appearance of lions, others like eagles, others like oxen, but all were worshiping the Lord with fear and trembling. This describes creatures resembling animals and their heavenly roles, mirroring themes found in Ezekiel and Revelation. 2 Baruch 41:10-12. For the nature of man shall be changed into the glory of angels, and every earthly creature shall be transformed into the likeness of heavenly creatures, and all the ones above heaven shall receive them. And there shall then be excellence in the righteous, surpassing that in the angels. This suggests that earthly creatures and humanity reflect the forms and glory of heavenly beings. Yes, Animism is present in many other cultures, especially indigenous and traditional ones. While the specifics may vary, the core idea remains that everything has a spirit or essence. Shinto Japan, Shinto, the indigenous religion of Japan, has animistic elements. It believes in kami, which are spirits or gods present in natural elements such as trees, rocks, rivers, and animals. Shrines are often placed in nature, and offerings are made to the spirits of the land to honor them. Celtic beliefs. Ancient Celtic peoples practiced animism, believing that spirits resided in the natural world, including animals, trees, and stones. The Celts revered sacred animals, such as the stag and the raven, which were seen as messengers or symbols of divine power. Native American spirituality. Native American tribes often view animals, plants, and elements of nature as spiritually significant. They believe in a deep connection to the natural world and that animals and nature can offer spiritual guidance, lessons, and protection. The wolf, eagle, bear, and buffalo are often symbolic of certain traits, and many Native American cultures maintain a reverence for nature spirits. Australian Aboriginal spirituality. Aboriginal cultures in Australia are deeply animistic, believing that the world is full of spirits inhabiting all things. They see animals, plants, and natural phenomena as manifestations of ancestral spirits. Dreamtime stories, which tell the creation myths, feature animals and spiritual beings that shape the world. The Bible contains references that resonate with animistic themes, such as the idea that all creation, plants, animals, rivers, mountains, has a spiritual connection or is filled with the glory of God. All creation praises God. Psalm 96, 11-12, Psalm 148, 7-10. The Spirit of God sustains all life. Job 12, 7-10, Psalm 104, 24-30. Trees, animals, and their symbolic roles. Isaiah 55, verse 12. Revelation 5:13, God's presence in nature, Habakkuk 3:3-4, Romans 1:20, sacred places and natural symbols, Genesis 28-17, Deuteronomy 32:13. Mikhail Massa video, subscribe and share.